The role of technology today, I'll first share some number. You will understand. Just yesterday, Google announced their quarterly result, financial result. Just quarter number, not annual number. $90 billion revenue. 90 billion. $30 billion profit. They also announced stock buyback of $70 billion. And remember the 90 billion revenue for a quarter. So if you multiply by 4, so it will, in fact, their annual revenue is now approaching $400 billion. And 400 billion. Our India's GDP is about maybe 4 trillion. So it gives you the perspective. One company with only maybe 2 lakh employees, about 2 lakh employees. Only 2 lakh employees. So doing maybe 10% of our annual GDP. Microsoft is similar number, slightly lower. And Apple is also similar number. Each of these companies, each of them now making $300 million every day in profit. 300 million every day in profit. 300 million is, you put our thing, 2,500 crore profit in one day, every single day of the year. So that is the scale of now technology. And our entire lives now revolve around it. Our phone in our pocket to this, all of the technology. And now we'll connect it to our rural problem, to the other perspective. In rural areas, to get a job that pays 10,000 rupees per month is hard in many rural areas still. And so you see one extreme where only 2 lakh employees, they're able to make nearly 400 billion a year. To give you that in number, each employee, they are doing almost 2 million per year revenue, $2 million. So 16 crore in revenue per employee. That's the scale now. And so the technology, the top 4 technology companies now, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, Amazon, 5 companies. These 5 companies alone, now together their worth is now exceeding, and if you add NVIDIA to the mix, just these 6 companies now, maybe $12-13 trillion. That's more than 3 times India's GDP in terms of value. So I just give you the scale of this business now and where, and here is the problem. This is not just Bharat's problem. There is no German company, there is no European company in that list, there is no Japanese company in the list. The only country that's competitive right now with their own domestic companies is China. Chinese are using their own search, their own maps, all of that. Their own phones. We buy Chinese phones. So this is the scale of the industry globally. And the Chinese companies are not fully competitive in every area, but they have come quite far now. And in Bharat, we are not yet, that this is the challenge for us, because we are in this crucial sector, broader technology. We still have a lot of catching up to do. And part of my fundamental thesis is that this is directly connected to our rural development also. That our technology problem, our technology dependence is also our rural problem. And the reason is very simple. I always say we sell commodities, rice paddy or vegetables, milk. Milk, we are lucky to get 30 rupees to 50 rupees per liter. Rice paddy, maybe 30 rupees per kilogram wholesale. That's what the farmer will get, 25 rupees per kilogram. And the value addition is very low because 1 liter of water also costs 15 rupees. Milk is 30 rupees. So you see the difference. So if the farmer buys drinking water, they'll pay 10, 15 rupees per liter. But their milk is only giving them 30 rupees in the wholesale from the market. So in every field like this, what they call in economic term, the terms of trade is now tilted against, and this is true not just for Bharat now, it's true for most countries in the world. Technology is taking higher and higher share of the value addition. All of the economic value addition, more of the share is going to technology. More of the GDP is going to technology. More of the stock market valuation is going to technology. You can see whichever metric you use, the profit share, the value addition, and the market capitalization, all of those are moving towards technology. So this is the fundamental problem we have to address for a prosperous nation. And with AI now, this trend seems to be more accelerating, artificial intelligence, because AI may eliminate whole categories of jobs. And for example, in the last year, even Google has laid off employees. They need fewer people to do the work. They say maybe 25%, 30% of the code is now written by AI. So even for the programmers, there is jobs under challenge. So this is the situation. On the other hand, I'll give you an example. This is recently I came across this example in India. A company that I cannot name, it's confidential information, but I can share you some detail. They were able to reduce their support call center employees by about 60-70%. They eliminated the jobs, replaced with AI. So AI assisted call center now. And previously what they were paying in salary to employees in India, now they are paying to AI agent to OpenAI. So OpenAI is getting maybe, so if they spent maybe 10 crore previously in salaries, now they only spend 3 crore a year in salary. But the remaining 7 crore is not all savings. Of the remaining 7 crore, maybe 4 crore is going to OpenAI for technology. So the 10 crore in salary reached 3 crore for employees, but 4 crore went to technology now. The company still saves money. They still save maybe 3 crore in savings, just to give you a number. So this type of thing is becoming common even in the BPO, all of these sectors. And now you have the next challenge in technology, for example, the self-driving car. That may eliminate a lot of driver jobs, for example, drivers. And delivery, for example, already they are experimenting with drone-based delivery. So if you order in Amazon, a drone may come and deliver the package. Already the technology is being tested, all that. In the USA, many cities now, they have allowed self-driving cars to take customers, passengers. So Waymo, they are conducting tests now for self-driving car. So you call the car from your app, a car comes without any driver and picks you up and drops. Similarly, if you order on Amazon, at some point, drone may deliver at your doorstep. So now what happens is all of the value addition, just like I mentioned in the call center job is cut. So the person earning the salary is gone now, maybe 70% gone. But the saving, 70% saving, more than 50% of it went to technology. So that's the nature of this, what we are heading towards, the economy right now. And these trends seem to be accelerating now, more acceleration now. In fact, even if you look at this idea, rich companies are getting richer. It's applicable even in the top. If you take the top 20 companies, the top 2 companies are getting richer than the remaining 18. At every level, it's true. It's this inequality rising from technology. It's true even at that level. Because I tell you another statistic. Microsoft and Google each are investing about $70 billion, $80 billion or more on AI-related GPU. So most of it spent on chips, semiconductor chips, NVIDIA, all that. Constructing data centers, $70 to $90 billion per year each company. There is not maybe more than 4 or 5 companies in the entire world that can invest $70 billion in 1 year. There's no Indian company I know that can invest $70 billion in 1 year. Nobody has that kind of capital. Yeah. So one company, Google, is investing $75 billion. Other company, Microsoft, is investing $90 billion on data center alone. It is those data centers that are now powering whether it's self-driving car, eventually the technology behind it, or the automatic delivery, all of those. And not just call center job. For example, I mentioned the call center job elimination. So all of this is happening, starting to happen now. We are seeing it. So maybe in 2-3 years, we'll see drone-based delivery. The full self-driving capabilities are already being tested in many markets in America, with customers taking those rides now. So this is so I want to first outline the nature of the problem. First, we have to understand the problem before we can find solution. And here is the other thing it pains me as a patriotic Indian. 50% of the intellectual property in all of these came from Indian brains that went abroad. 50% of the IP, the patents, all of that. Because you can go see who is doing this work in Microsoft or Google or Facebook, any of these companies. Amazon, 50% of the brains should be from us, the critical brains. And so that is, in other words, we are paying tax to our own brains we exported before. I hope you understand the problem clearly. We exported the brains very cheaply. We produced the brain here, educated them in IITs and all of that, sent them abroad. We didn't collect any fee for it. They went free. We gifted them free, our children. And now we are paying very heavy price for it when the money goes out. And this has to be understood. And the result is that the gap is widening now. Within America, the gap is widening. Part of the whole Trump election, the tariffs, all of that is because of the rising inequality within the country, within America. It's not, so we are seeing the global effect of an American social political problem. Okay, and similarly, the gap is widening even between, for example, America and Japan now. Just yesterday, a news came out. The state of California now has higher GDP than Japan. Because why? Japan is demographically behind. They are not catching up in all this AI, self-driving, all of that. American companies control the technology. Japan used to be way ahead in cars, automobiles. And they fell behind now in terms of the self-driving or electric vehicles. A lot of this Japan has now fallen behind because they fell behind in some of the R&D involved in software technology. Because car is now mostly, a lot of it is software. Car is driven by software now, more and more. The battery is managed by software. The motor is controlled by software. The car is really software in metal, you can say. Software and metal, that's what a car is. Software comes first now. This is true across so many of industry now. So this is the nature of our challenge. But what is the solution? And I have long thought through this, and we have to harvest our own brains and produce this technology ourselves and be able to compete. And the only country that has done this reasonably well, it's not Germany, it is not UK, it is not France, it is not Japan, only China. If there is only one country that is reasonably self-reliant in technology today, it is China. So, which is why if you see my X profile, I often tweet about this. And that also tells us it is possible to do this. We can do this. We have the only country that has the human brain power to do this, all of this, is India. We can do this. But we have to do this systematically. And this is not easy. It is not going to be, it's not to create these technologies is a 5 to 10 year committed projects we need, minimum. And during that time, it's very frustrating journey. You have to work hard and all of this. So that's the challenge today. And my particular way of doing this, particularly I want to mobilize our rural talent for this problem. Talent in rural areas on this technology development, research and development problem. So that's really the connection. And we have the brain power. What I have seen, I've lived 5 years in Tenkasi, and I see a lot of brain power coming from very humble background. Government schools, in our case, Tamil medium schools. Students coming out, we train them. They have the capacity to absorb complex technology and work on complex problems. And this is our asset. This is what our national asset is. We have to be able to do this. And the second is we also have to, part of the mission for me is some of the people who left for abroad, we have to bring them back. There are people willing to come back now because they realize they want to contribute to our nation building now. So this is the time. The next 25 years is crucial. They realize it. So you have to bring some of the talent back. Maybe 10% of the talent that left, 5% of the talent, but that's crucial. They can train more talent here, but some of the talent is needed back. That's one. And the third is future. This is another important objective. We have to retain talent here. And we are not doing a good job now. Today, India is sending the most students abroad. We are the country that is sending the most number of students abroad, so much that I think we are running a $20 to $30 billion deficit on higher education alone. College and graduate, post-college education, both. Hundreds, millions of students are now studying abroad. And most of them are not coming back. That is also a loss of critical brain power for our nation. We cannot afford to lose this. So that's also another challenge. And so we have to harness our rural talent, we have to bring back some talent, and we have to retain the new talent. So one thing for those of you in this room with children, one advice I give, encourage your children to stay in India, stay in Bharat. Important. I tell all the young people I come across, particularly middle class, upper middle class, richer students, please stay in Bharat. We need to develop our nation. We need your brain power here. We need your brain power here. So that's important. Because we have lost the previous generation, but we cannot afford to lose another generation. So with this is the approach. It is going to take, if we start now in critical technology, maybe drones and artificial intelligence, in self-driving car, we can start catching up in the next 5 to 10 years. It takes 5 years minimum, 10 years realistic. Some technology may be even longer. Semiconductor, advanced semiconductor, it may take 10 years. GPUs, we need to invest in all of this technology. Because regardless of where a citizen is, where we are, we have come to depend on technology now. All our lives revolve around technology. And so we cannot have the dependence without having the mastery over it. We have to master the technology. That is the only key. That is the only way we can make the economics work for us. To achieve prosperity, we have to take part in the value addition. So the way I say it is, today we are passive consumers of technology. We have to be part of the creation of technology so that we can get the value addition for our own spending needs. And in this, we have, for all the praise we get, Zoho is very small compared to the global major. Our revenue is only about $1.5 billion. I mentioned Google revenue is $400 billion. So you get the scale difference, 1.5 versus 400. Microsoft is also about 300, 350 billion. So these companies are 200 times bigger than us in terms of revenue, 200 times bigger. And we are the largest in India. So you get the scale problem. The largest company in India in software is 200 times smaller than the global majors. So that gives you an idea of the challenge we face. Even Zoho faces that challenge, which is why I actually, to face the challenge, I became chief scientist so that we can focus even more on R&D, research and development, even more product inventions, product introduction, all of that. Because what we are doing is not enough. We have to do a lot more. That's why we are doing it. But it's only one company. We need 100 such companies all over India, all over Bharat. That is a challenge. And we have to harvest our brain power to do this. And this has to also our brain power from rural areas, which is our secret weapon. I consider it a secret weapon because there is so much brain power that is not tapped today. We have to tap that brain power. So that is the overall program. I hope that's my thing made sense. So I wish you all well, and I pray for a prosperous Bharat, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.